Hey everybody, my name's Anthony Agee. I've posted a few videos here, but this is a little bit different. Oh, goodness gracious. It seems like in some ways the world has come to an end, or coming to an end, I should say. But I know lots of people out there are afraid and concerned, but there are so many people out there working for, love and compassion and trying to bring awakening to the world. And these kinds of trials really give us the opportunity to look at what's important to us. And we have to remember that you have experiences and that they're happening, but the truth is that they're just that, they're experiences, and there's no real good experience or bad experience. There's only experience, and you are not the experience. You are you, and the experience is just something that arises and passes through you. So with that being said, there's a lot of folks out there who are afraid of, catching the coronavirus, or maybe have the coronavirus, or maybe work with people, or afraid of what might happen. And there's a lot of stuff like that going on in people's minds. Well, I'm here to tell you that I have something for you that can help you with that. And I was going to, just kind of post it, but I needed to have a bit more information and background. So last night I was doing, well, actually, it's not really last night. It's actually the past 3 days I've been doing some deep meditation work. And, I had a lot of stuff happen. I basically kind of went into hibernation mode myself because I was essentially being overwhelmed by all the suffering that other people were feeling. I mean, I was sitting here feeling perfectly happy and fine. I mean, sure, I had stuff to happen, but I was okay with it. But I just was being overwhelmed by all this, just suffering everywhere. And it took me a minute to kind of sort through why was I feeling that, and where was it coming from, and then who was that person that was suffering, because it wasn't really me, that was suffering in the sense. It was something I was feeling, and I had to look at why I was identifying it. And it all culminated into a meditation experience that I had last night where I'll save you the details, but it's a great story. Let's just say I could write a movie about it. But essentially I was on a quest to find something. And in this particular meditation, for some reason, I ran into an old teacher of mine, actually not an old teacher, still a current teacher anyway, and we ended up deciding to do a practice together in this meditation. And in the midst of that practice, he changed into, and I'm not even going to try to say the name, but basically he changed into Kanon, which is the Japanese version of Kuan Yin, essentially. And I received kind of initiation, for lack of a better way to put it. And the idea was that I needed to deflect, to commune in essence with the suffering of other people. And by allowing that in myself, it allows me to transform that into a different place. And then I realized that I have so many tools to help people with healing and whatnot. And what had been happening is I hadn't really figured out a way to sort of share that with people. So, and that sort of, once I had that initiation or that healing or that moment of practice with Kanon, it just kind of blew me away in a way that I was not expecting. And it kind of showed me what was going on for the past 3 or 4 days. So in addition to that experience and other things, and of course, some of you may not know, but I got involved with a healing system known as Vortex Healing, and it's a long story and lots of cool stuff. And if you're friends of mine on Facebook, then you've probably read some of the stories and some of the workshops. But Vortex Healing, we like to call ourselves wizards because we really do magic. And, magic is what really binds the universe together. I mean, it's just, and it's very playful and fun. And I like to use the word mischievous. I don't know why I think that, but I always kind of feel like I'm a little bit, like the kid in the chemistry class that's coming up with secret formulas. And it really does kind of work like that in a lot of ways. But the more of the story is that, there's a lot of folks higher up in the Vortex community. They do these things called earth shifts. And when they do earth shifts, they work on stuff that's, humanity based. I mean, it's like working on things that affect, big things. And, when the coronavirus started first hitting, a bunch of folks got together, and the founder, Rick, of the system, I mean, he works with the divine presence that Vortex is based on. And he worked with them, and he came up with we started with a transmission that we did as a group last week to basically assist in slowing down the transmission of the virus from person to person, because there's an energetic component to how this virus works, and how all energetics and how viruses work and stuff is way more than I want to go into in this video, but I just wanted to mention it to you briefly. So we did a transmission for all of humanity, and we all worked collectively for hours at a time, not all at the same time. I put about an hour and a half in myself, and it was a really potent transmission. And the thought was that it might slow the transmission down by a third. And there are some other things that we've done as well on a global level. And, and part of the problem I was having, before I had my experience with Canon was that I was kind of overwhelmed by how do I reach people? How do I, help people? Because on one level, I'm like everyone else. My job's being affected. My livelihood's being affected, just like everybody else's, And I'm putting myself at risk every day because one of the things I do is I drive people around, and there's no way to drive people around and practice social isolation that we're supposed to be doing. So anyway, and plus I have all these wonderful Vortex tools, and it's like, ooh, I'd like to do some group healings, but how do I get in touch with the right people? And, and while some of these things I've been working on for a while anyway, it's just kind of sort of paralyzed by choice, if you will. And plus I was being overwhelmed by other people's stuff that I wasn't even aware of until I got a objective view. So without further ado, basically one of the other things that got developed and passed on to all of us earlier this weekend was we had a special transmission called Immune Boost. And what this transmission does is does exactly what it says. It boosts your immune system and helps you to fight off all kinds of infections and things like that. It's kind of like sort of like an injection of an viral and antibacterial. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like a vaccine of sorts. On another level, we're actually working on, I'm not working, but Rick is working on some stuff that's going to be breaking down the virus on a much higher sort of template level stuff, a bit beyond my realm of working. But the problem I was having with this particular transmission is that it's really freaking powerful. And because I used it on myself a couple times, and it really, really kicked my butt in a really, really fun way. So it's like it really does work very nicely. Now, this won't really help so much if you're already sick, of course. We have other protocols for that in Vortex Healing. We have an infection protocol specifically to deal with infections, and part of that protocol is demanifesting the viral bits and all kinds of stuff, and it's a very detailed thing. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to do, and it's a one-on-one kind of thing. It's something I can't do on 50 people. The immune system boost, though, is new, and I played around with it a little bit on myself and a couple people that were unknowing guinea pigs, people that are, they get stuff from me all the time, so it wasn't a surprise. But I wanted to see how the transmission might work in people's lives, and it's been something that's been very awesome. But once again, we're back to this problem of, well, geez, we can sit down in a group, but I needed a way to transmit this in a more sort of not mass market, it's not the right word, but in a more mass-produced kind of way. And so, without getting into all sorts of background, I've been working very diligently since my last Vortex class, and in that class I received a kind of some messages, and there's some healings and some things that happened to me personally, and since then I've been working very closely on my own energy and certain skills that I have just because of, who I am energetically or where I come from or, whatever you want to look at that way. And so anyway, I have partnered up with previous skill sets that I have from other traditions and working with Vortex, and I have created a way to, in essence, package up that immune boost transmission, which normally I would take about 15 or 20 minutes to have to do on a person. I can just embed that in something, an object or a crystal or something like that, and then I can actually then sort of, in essence, email that to people or send it to people or whatever. And I've done that. It took me about 3 days to do it all, but anyway, it works pretty well so far. And basically what happens is you just tune into this picture that I'm going to make here. It'll be on the end of the video here. And all you need to do is, just tune into that picture, which is going to be a really cute teddy bear of mine. His name is Marcus, and he likes to do healing, so you'll feel quite at home, and he's so cute. But anyway, just tune into Marcus there, look into his eyes, and just simply intend to receive this immune boost transmission. And please don't do this while you're driving. I recommend you're sitting down, and more importantly, I recommend that you have an hour or 2 or 3 after you receive this transmission where you don't have to be anywhere. Both times I've used this transmission on myself, it knocked me out for a good hour. And I mean like unconscious knocked me out, not like, woo, this is fun, woo, right? It's very energetic, it's very enlightening, and it kind of does something a little bit different depending on who you are. And my perception of it is that it is a process-oriented transmission. So it's not just like, oh, I'm sending, frequency 14.5 megahertz to you and then that's it. It's much more deeper than that. And it kind of goes into a lot of deep things like, DNA. It goes into your emotional karmic issues of vulnerability and victim. And it kind of goes to some of those core issues. And so it's actually, even though it only takes about 15 or 20 minutes, it's actually a very potent sort of healing on a much deeper issue. Because it's not just immune boost like, oh, we're going to turn up your white blood cells and, oh, we're going to turn up your, your production of, leukocytes and things like that. It's not, those all things could happen, but it's really more than that. This is really getting into the, what are you open to and what is able to get through to your energy and creating sort of a field of, of greater immunity in general. So anyway, so just all you need to really do is sit down, look into Marcus's eyes and intend to receive the transmission. And from there, it will unpack in about 15 or 20 minutes. It takes about that long. And as I said, but I would say I would give yourself an hour. Sorry about that. I had to have a brief pause because my housemate, Queen Elsa, who some of you have seen on her Instagram, she really likes this bear. And, well, I don't want her to eat it because he's too precious for that. And you can hear her barking now because she really wants this bear. But she can't have it. It's not your bear. Anyway, no. So anyway, that is all you need to know. So I will edit this video out and talk about that. And I'll add the picture of Marcus at the end here. And as I saw, you need to just tune into him and you'll receive that immune boost. And it is open to anyone and everyone who is open to receiving it. All right, I think that covers it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc. I am going to be doing some live Vortex stuff here in the future. I'm thinking about doing a regular daily meeting where I'll do this transmission in person for people who show up. But I wanted a way to get this out to more people and more directly because that's where the real secret is. Anyway, I will talk to you all later, and blessings.